This Monday, the Georgia Bulldogs will get another chance at a national championship. And for those of us who have been waiting 4+ decades for the Bulldogs to win one, well, it could be a special night. It will be a special night if Georgia plays the same as they did last Friday against Michigan when they bounced back after the lackluster performance on December the 4th against Alabama and played great. They showed at the minimum they're the number 2 team in the country by bouncing back and showing that the first 12 wins of the season in the regular season were no fluke. They played a great game against the Big Ten champion, but now they have to beat Alabama. And that's what it's all come down to for several years for Kirby Smart, the head coach, and this program is beating Alabama. When he was hired 6 years ago, we knew that was what he would have to do at some point, beat his old boss, Nick Saban, and beat Alabama. Well, it didn't happen on December the 4th, and you have to wonder if that lackluster performance, as I called it, perhaps kicked that team in the gear against Michigan this past Friday and had them get back on track and play very, very well. If they play like they did last Friday, they're going to win the national championship. But there are several things that have to happen for Georgia to finally beat Alabama. First of all, they have to do one thing they did not do well the first go round, and that is to put pressure on Bryce Young, the quarterback, and put him down on the ground. A team that had a lot of pass rush during the regular season had none against Alabama on December the 4th. And the irony about that was the week before that game for Alabama, Auburn had done such a good job of putting pressure on Bryce Young, but Georgia had no pressure on him. Cincinnati, which lost, of course, to Alabama last Friday in the Cotton Bowl, they put more pressure on Young than even Georgia did. So the Bulldogs must bounce back and somehow put pressure on Bryce Young. Of course, the running game is something that Georgia kind of gave up on too soon in the SEC championship game. They were running the ball effectively against Alabama, but then when the Crimson Tide scored 24 points in the second quarter, I don't think the Georgia coaches felt they had no choice but to put the ball in the air a little bit. They abandoned that run game. They have to keep it going on Monday night against the Crimson Tide. Let James Cook, let Zamir White do their damage. And look, the offensive line did such a great job the other night against those 2 first-round draft picks for Michigan, Ajabo and Hutchinson, that I think it may be too much to ask for them to do the same thing this week against Alabama. But if they do, Stetson Bennett's going to have plenty of time to pass the ball down the field and get it to those receivers. We know that he has a great group of receivers, a tremendous bunch, a lot of talent at receiver, of course, led by Brock Bowers and George Pickens and Kyrus Jackson, Jermaine Burton, Ladd McConkey. There's so many of them. And if that offensive line gives him time, Stetson Bennett will do the job and take Georgia to a win in this national championship game. It's supposed to be cold. It's going to be indoors, thankfully, but the game itself could be tremendous. These are, without a doubt, the 2 best teams, the 2 best programs in college football right now. And, you know, like we said a couple of months ago about the Atlanta Braves, after they had waited 26 years for a World Series championship, it's just time. It's time the Georgia Bulldogs finally won the national championship. 1981, January the 1st, 1981. Jimmy Carter had not given up the office of president yet. The hostages were still in Iran. A lot's changed, of course, since then. And that was the last time Georgia won, January the 1st, 1981. So 41 years later, it is time. Georgia has not been able to get past Alabama. They've had close games. They got as close as you could a few years ago and not win the national championship with that overtime loss on 2nd 26. But now with their great team they have, a lot of talent, it's just time. And therefore, objectively, Georgia's going to win on Monday night.